Welcome! This is our last video in our PnPjs version 3 overview. And in this video, we're going to show how to use the batching method to update a bunch of list items all with one call. And so from our last video, we were going to talk through the updateTitles method. And so let's dig into that now. Okay, so now we're going to show what the onClick event of that button is going to do, which is going to be to call the method, private method updateTitles. So updateTitles is going to make a batched call to update all the items in our library. So we're going to start off by using a method on the SP object called batched. And so we're going to call this .sp_sp, .batched. And that method returns a tuple. And so what a tuple is an array of objects. And in this case, the first object in the array is our new SP object that will manage our batching. And the second is a method called execute that will execute our batch. So we're going to start off then on line 87, cloning the items that we already have in state, because we need to do that for React. And then we're going to walk through each one of those items and add a call to our batchedSP to go update the item. So it's batchedSP.web.lists, get by title, get item by ID. And so we know what item ID is because we stored that when we got the items to begin with. So we'll pass in the ID. Then we'll do .update, and where in the update, we're saying the object is title. We want to update the title property to be the old name plus the word dash updated. And then it pushes the results onto an array of objects. So once we loop through all the items so that we've added a request for each item to be updated, then we await the execute method. And so that execute method will then execute the batch requests, and all the results will then come back on that results object where we pushed them onto in the then of each call. So now that we have the results.
I was just going to jump in real quick, Julie. That's really interesting. So can I just, anything that's chained off of that batched SP object will be included in the batch? Is that how that works? Right.
That's exactly how
So
that
could
works.
I do other calls? I could, for example, get the web information as part of that batched SP using batchedSP.web, or I could get the lists using batchedSP.web.lists and execute that all as part of the same batch just by using that batched SP we got up above?
Exactly how it works. And
oh, super cool.
What's great about that, but being careful in our documentation, there are some endpoints that don't support batching, so you need to be careful about that. We did update the docs to reflect that.
Yeah, those are typically the ones where you're updating or uploading file contents are typically not available for batching. Attachments, anything involving a file.
Sharing is a tough one too.
Sharing has trouble right now, but we're working on those as we can. But the file stuff probably won't ever be in batch.
Right. So then after we get our results, we're just going to update all our items and then set them back onto state. And the reason we did that is because, remember, we had caching before. So if I just used the old caching function that I had before, it's going to go get the cached values and not the updated values. So I'm just utilizing the results that we already got to update our items to show the new name and then update the state. So I think that's one way of doing it. There's obviously others, but that shows how we're going to use that results to update our state so that you can see the changes. So do you want to show that quickly?
Yeah, let's have a quick look at our web part in action. So here I am running gulp serve on this sample. So it's here just running away in this little window here. And here's our web part. I've already loaded that on. This is our online dashboard, or my online dashboard of my dev tenant. You do need to hit preview. So just a heads up there, you got to hit preview so the buttons will activate the way you think they will. And we're just going to hit update item titles. But before we do that, I'm just going to call your attention to the name column here. And I'll as well show you the list so there's no secrets behind what's going on. Here's the title column. We're going to go ahead and click. Yeah, no tomfoolery at all. We'll click the update item titles button. Wait a second. There we go. So you've seen this, our display updated. That was the state updating that Julie talked about a second ago. And if we go back to our library, we'll actually refresh this page real quick. You can see all the titles of our documents have been changed to dash updated. So it worked. So definitely check out that sample. And I hope you've enjoyed our series of videos here introducing V3 of PnPjs. Anything you want to say to close out, Julie?
No, I think that's it. And, definitely check out those docs as we talked about in the first video, and that will help you get started. But if you have any issues or questions, certainly post them to our issues list in GitHub. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.